here with Brian Sandalo from the Chicago Sun-Times.
Hi, Ezra. Good afternoon, and just let you know it's snowing here in Chicago, so we're all very jealous.
So I've heard. Good afternoon.
Yes, enjoy the weather. Anyway, just wondering if everybody is in camp and ready to go, and if there's been any new injury concerns since we last spoke a week ago.
Yeah, everyone is in camp at this point. Soke has gone back to his country to sort out some things, and he'll be back. But other than that, everyone is here. There are a couple knocks, but nothing major as far as injuries wise. All of the guys who were injured at the end of the season last year are back and in training. So we're happy about that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Next, we'll have Larry Hawley from WGN.
Hey, Ezra, I hope you're doing well. I guess just in interacting with the team so far, what's the attitude of the club now as you start up a new season and as you look forward to kind of a new beginning for the club?
We're elated, man. It's been really, really good. The players came back very, very fit. All the injured guys are back. And the atmosphere, the attitude of all the players is just, we're very happy as a staff to see. And, you know, it speaks well for the players that we have here, the players that we've brought in here these past couple of years, you know, because after last season, it could be time for downtime, but these guys have come back very positive. They know that, you know, what's our task and what we need to do. And as a staff, as a head coach, it's very, very promising for me. I'm very optimistic about what we can do this year with this team.
Awesome. All right. Next, we'll go to Jose Gudino from Conexión Deportiva.
Hi, yes, thank you for making time for us. Hope you guys enjoy in Cancun. As well as you know, preseason, there's a lot of rumors going on, players getting into the team and everything. Anything you can tell us, like if you guys have something close of hiring any player, any position that you're specifically looking for, something you can tell us. Thank you.
Well, you know, we're constantly looking to get better. We do have some spots that we need to fill still. We're close on some things, but, you know, these negotiations are ongoing, you know, and nothing is concrete right now. So there's really not much I could elaborate on that, just beyond the fact that, you know, we are still looking to make the team better. And we know that there are some spots that we need to fill. And we're trying to do that as an organization so that we can put the best product possible on the pitch this year.
Any particular spot that you're more interested in filling in?
Can you repeat that? You muzzled a little bit.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Any position that you're in particular looking to fill in?
Well, we came into the off season knowing several different positions that we needed to fill, and now with Duran being gone, that's another hole that we need to fill. You know, we have just Casper and Bazaar and right now, and so we know we need to fill that spot. Also, you know, it's just other positions. I'm not really at liberty to say right now because I don't want to let anything out of the bag, but. I think it's pretty obvious that some of the positions that we need to fill. But right now, as is, you know, we have people in every position, and but we just know that we need to, you know, make the team stronger and make the team deeper, so to speak. So, and it's not just depth as in numbers, but depth as in experience. You know, we need to get some experience, some more experience on the team, and that's what we're thriving for right now. But it's not, you know, our window still have a little bit of time to go, so we do have some time, but we want to get guys in as quickly as possible, so we're working hard towards that.
All right, thanks, Coach. Next, we'll go to Miguel AJ from ChicagoFireFC.com.
Ezra, how are the new signings settling into the team with the training camp that you guys have started?
Well, really well. We've been very impressed with what we've seen. These are players that we were very diligent as far as scouting them, and before we brought them into the team, so we knew what they were able to do. But it always takes some time for new players to fit in. But I think these guys are fitting in really well. So we're looking forward to great things from them.
Awesome. We'll circle back around to Brian Sandalo. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ezra. Jonathan Dean, one of those new players, signed from the USL Championship. What kind of expectations do you have for him? And also, is signing players from the USL Championship kind of like an untapped resource for MLS teams? Because it doesn't seem like guys jump from the championship to signing with an MLS team all that often.
Yeah, well, we brought Johnny in to give him the opportunity to compete for a starting spot. We want competition at every position. So in that position, like all the other positions, there will be competition. And Johnny's been doing really well. But he's here to make the team as a starter. That now depends on how he performs in training, but there will be competition there because there are other people that were brought in at that position also, and that's what we wanted to create on this team, competition. As far as the UCL go, we want to comb every aspect throughout the world, throughout the lower leagues in this country, to find the best fit for this organization, the best fit for this club, for this team. And that's what we're trying to do. So maybe the USL Championship has not been tapped into as much, but I think more and more you're going to see teams look into that league for players. It's a big jump. It's not an easy jump from the USL Championship to the MLS because the MLS have grown so much, but there are players in that league that can come into the MLS and make a good career. So I don't think that's if it's not tapped in right now, I don't think that'll go on for too much longer. I think teams are going to start looking into that league for players. But that's a competition with a lot of teams have MLS Next Pro teams, and most of the players will come from that and from the academy and stuff. But USL Championship is not, and it's shown over the years that players have come from that league and be able to perform well in MLS. So that's something that I think will be ongoing.
Why do you think that is? That teams haven't tapped that market? There's a lot of experienced players who are familiar with the American soccer landscape. So why do you think teams haven't really used that as much in the past as maybe they could have and should have?
Well, different reasons. Maybe let's take a team. Maybe they don't see someone that fit what they're looking for, or maybe sometimes the players in the USL Championship, maybe they're a little older than what teams are looking for. So it's a bunch of different aspects. And also with the academies being so strong in MLS now, and with the new under 22 initiative and programs like that the league has instilled, maybe it's easier to go and get a foreign 19-year-old that's played 50 professional matches that's probably fit what you're trying to do better than someone who's 25, 26 with maybe not as much experience. So I think there's a bunch of different reasons why, but nothing to shy about with the USL Championship because it's a good league. It's a very strong league, and it's getting better also.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Coach. We'll take one more from Larry Hawley. Go ahead.
Ezra, what you didn't have a full season, but you had a lot of the season with Chris Mueller. What stood out to him about him? And also, what are you expecting out of him now here in 2023 as he has a full season on now under his belt and be able to start right from the beginning?
Yeah, well, Chris is a very good player, and like I alluded to earlier, before we bring a player in, we really do due diligence to make sure that the player fits. And Chris was sort of easy for us. He's an Illinois boy, and he played in the MLS before, and he showed that he's capable of doing well in the league. He came in and played really well for us, scored some big goals for us, and was very, very important for us going down the stretch. But like you said, he didn't have a full season with us. But we've seen what he can do, And I think he's come back really, really fit. He got a little break because he went straight from Scotland to playing with us. And I think he's shown well in training. What he brings is that ability to break defenses down with 1v1. Someone to get behind defenses off the ball, making runs. And we've seen, like the goal he scored in Vancouver last year, his ability to take defenders on and put the ball in the back of the net. And that's something that we need more from our wing players. And that's something that Chris brings to us.
Thank you, Ezra.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Yeah, thanks, Ezra. We'll wrap it up with you there. Appreciate you. Go back out into the sun, enjoy it for us. And we'll have Chris Mueller up next for you guys.
Thank you.
Off with Brian Sandalo from the Chicago Sun-Times. Go ahead, Brian.
Sure. Hey, Chris. Good afternoon. Nice to talk to you again. Hope all is well with you. And just wondering, I think you and I have spoken about it, that last year was quite the grind for you physically, going straight from Scotland to the fire and everything. You had some time off finally. So how are you feeling right now physically? And just how nice is it to have finally a little bit of time to rest and recuperate for a season?
Yeah, well, right now, physically, I'm pretty sore, to be honest. We've been getting our butts kicked down here in Cancun, but nonetheless, I had a good offseason. Took some time to kind of just disconnect, recharge. It was, like you said, a long time since I've had any sort of off season, since going from Scotland and having jumped in and played a lot of minutes last year. So yeah, getting some time off was much needed. I feel really good. Honestly, I feel refreshed. I feel like I got that pep back in my step that I feel like I kind of started to lose a little bit of towards the end of the season last year, just from all the wear and tear. But no, ultimately, I feel right now, I feel energized. I feel ready to go. And more than anything else, just excited to get going and starting to play games again.
Is that something you and maybe other players like Shaqiri, for example, who did something similar, might underestimate or not realize is going to be such a challenge, going just from one league to another and not having really an off season?
I mean, I think it's kind of part of it, where you can obviously bump around in this career. You always got to be ready and constantly be taking care of yourself. It comes with a lot of sacrifice off the pitch and making sure that you're healthy and able to play in all those games, all those minutes, all that travel. It's a testament to Shaq and to myself. I think that just the professionalism that's required in order to be able to perform at that level for that long is not an easy task, but it's something that's done constantly by players all around the world who are moving and playing in seasons back to back. So not ideal, obviously. You want to give your body time to recover and recuperate, but when it's needed, I feel like it's part of our job to step up to the plate and still do our best to deliver results.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Next, we'll go to Larry Hawley from WGN.
Hey, Chris, hope you're doing well and had a good off season. First of all, just about the off season, what were things you had to do to kind of get yourself focused back? And then as you look forward to that, what are some of the goals that you have now that you do have a full season right away here to start with the Fire?
One of the things that I really needed, and I felt like I needed for the first time in my career and in my life, was just a break from soccer. I didn't want to watch it. I didn't want to play it. I didn't want to do anything for a week, 2 weeks. I went to Europe with my wife and just took some time to myself. And like I said, really just tried to reconnect. I went through a bit of a tough spell mentally, just in terms of with the game and coming back from Europe and some of the personal battles that I faced with that. So I really just felt like I needed some time away from the game. And that was, I think it reinvented a little bit of hunger in me and kind of gave me back that drive that has always driven me. Like I said, I've never needed a break from soccer. I've gone home every off season in the past since I was a rookie in the league and just gone straight to work and constantly am really pushing myself to the limits, grinding like all the time. So like I said, this was the first time in my life after playing for 3 years, because the year prior as well, when I was in Orlando, I had gone straight into national team camp in December, straight back into camp in January, and I didn't get an off season that year either. So it was close to 3 years that I went without taking any time off, for more than a week. So that break in itself was just massive for me, just to, like I keep reiterating, just recalibrate, reconnect with myself, recharge, get away from the world, turn off my phone, and just, get back to doing the things that make me happy and make me feel good. So yeah, now after I've gotten that break, I feel a lot better and I'm really optimistic about this year. It's been great to get back into camp here in Cancun with the guys. We got some new faces, which has been great. And it just seems like we're all a little bit more motivated this time around. Obviously wasn't around in preseason last year to see what the vibe around the locker room was like. I came in midway, so to get a full preseason with the guys is awesome. And we're shooting for big goals this year, as I feel like everyone should be. Every individual player should be shooting high. They say if you shoot for the moon, the worst you can do is land amongst the stars. So I think that's what we're trying to do here. We want to go for the MLS Cup as a team. We want to go for the Open Cup. We want to win the community, the Supporter Shield, sorry, and just continue to push the limits here. I think that there's a massive opportunity right now in Chicago, just dying for a sports team to be good in the moment, right? There's a lot of the teams are struggling in Chicago, and I feel like that's just a grand opportunity for us to step in and really change the narrative for ourselves and for the organization to really take the club back to the top. So, we've had conversations within the group and are really, really looking forward to being able to prove ourselves.
Chris, real quick, how did you get away from soccer? How difficult was that? You mentioned you took a trip, but how difficult is that to really not focus on the game and be able to really step away and take that time to recover?
It's massively important, and like I said, for me in that moment in time, it was really easy for me because I was really needing the break. I really have pushed myself the past 6 years. Will be the 7th season of my career to the limit. I really feel like I've put it all in. And so at this moment in time, and when I went over to Europe, especially with my wife, it was, 3 weeks that it wasn't hard for me to get away from the game because I had really needed it. I've gone to extents of deleting all my social media. I've just really just tried to focus in on myself and eliminate all distractions. And yeah, that's where I'm at this point. I feel good. I feel re-energized, and like I said, I'm just ready to go. I'm excited again to get going doing what we love.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Very inspiring. Appreciate you sharing all that. Next, we'll go to Jose Gudino from Conexión Deportiva.
Hi, Chris. Thank you for your time. It's good to see you happy and motivated. But obviously that we can tell that you have a lot of goals with the Chicago Fire. But do you see yourself going back to Europe in a couple of years? Especially after seeing Gaga and Duran going to elite Premier League teams. Do you see yourself that? Do you have the goal of going back, or right now your future is just thinking of MLS and the Chicago Fire? Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think what they're doing is awesome, and it's really cool and good to see the young players take those steps in their careers. And obviously, I'm super happy and excited to see them continue to grow into the players that we all know that they can become. As for myself, obviously, right now I'm focused on the Fire, and like I said, bringing success back to the organization, winning a trophy for my hometown city would be an absolute dream come true. And I'm never gonna, I won't say, I'm never gonna say never, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm never gonna go back to Europe, because life is going to change a ton by that time. It's something that I've learned, is not to write your plans in pen, but to write them in pencil, because things just always change. That's the nature of the game. That's the nature of the beast, you know. So we'll see what the future ends up bringing. But all I can say right now is that I'm very, very happy and content right now with where I'm at in my role in Chicago. I'm absolutely loving being back with my family. And being able to see my parents, being able to see my grandparents, hang out with my brother and my cousins. And, you know, I have a ton of support in Chicago. So to be home for the first time in my career and playing for Chicago has been, it's made me a lot happier than I could ever have imagined playing anywhere else. So, you know, with that, who knows what the future is going to bring. I don't know if I would go back. I think that the offer would have to be, you know, one that's just, you couldn't turn down. But even then, I don't know. I really don't. So, like I said, I'm never going to say never, but right now I'm just focused on this season, trying to make it my best one yet, trying to get back to playing my best football, trying to get myself back into the national team, and we'll see where it goes from there. But right now I just want to focus on Chicago, and for as far as I'm concerned, I'm staying here for a bit.
Yeah, and speaking of the future, and you touched it briefly, national team, is that something that motivates you, especially 2026, you know, playing right here at home, you know, the United States? Is that something also that motivates you to go back to the national team?
Yeah, 100%. That's one of my main motivators. You know, I had gotten into the team and had a really good debut, had a good January camp, and then kind of had that stint in Scotland where I guess I can say I took a bit of a dip in terms of my form, and a lot of uncontrollable circumstances kind of turned for the worse. But nonetheless, I definitely use that as a motivation factor, especially after watching the World Cup this year. I know my quality and know that I definitely could have been in that group, and especially with the way that I was pushing myself and right on the brink of getting into the team. Kind of bad timing, like I said, with when I went to Scotland and how things hadn't really shaken up. But I also feel like in a way that's put a really big chip on my shoulder, which has always been something that's pushed me, has driven me, is me constantly getting overlooked, which is, you know, it's fine by me. Like I said, it motivates me every day. It's what gets me up in the morning earlier than everybody else, and it's what keeps me working later than everybody else. So I'm just going to keep proving everybody wrong, and I'm going to get myself back into the national team at some point. I know that's for sure.
Awesome. Next, we'll go to Nico Moreno from MLSsoccer.com.
Thank you, Chris. Real quick, I wanted to ask two brief questions. One, I don't know if you've ever done preseason outside of the States, but, you know, what do you get? What's different looking at the opponents that you're going to face your preseason? And then secondly, last year, the team was doing so good on the attacking end with Durant. How different is it, or is it going to be, or your expectations are with a different component up top of this offense?
Yeah. Well, I've done preseason in Cancun. This is my second or third time in Cancun for preseason. So I'm pretty familiar with this area. Actually, it's been, you know, it's a great place to come to train. Obviously, you get good weather. We have a good setup here at the resort, and it just gives the guys a lot of time together. So I feel like regardless of where you go to travel, as long as you got good weather and you're able to spend a lot of time getting to know your teammates, and especially the new ones, and building chemistry with the ones who have been there for the year prior, you know, I feel like those are all positives in that fashion. So what was the other question? I'm sorry.
Oh, the team was doing so well with Durant up top. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I feel like obviously losing Durant was a big piece. You can obviously see he had a ton of quality. He got bought by a Premier League side for a massive fee. So obviously losing that is not ideal, right? Like, we're going to have to replace that, and a lot of guys are going to have to pull weight in different areas. But I feel like the team is coming together in a strong fashion where, you know, regardless of the role of an individual, as long as the collective is strong and we can continue to build together, I feel like the team is going to outride any loss of an individual, because it's a team and not obviously an individual sport. So as long as we can continue to grow and build in the direction that we want, I have no doubt that we'll be successful regardless.
Awesome. We'll take a couple more here. Next, we'll go to Omar Ramos from Univision Radio.
All right. Can you hear me, Chris?
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Chris, well, I'd like to say that we'd like for you to stay with the Chicago Fire, so please do so. The other day at SeatGeek, I heard you speaking Spanish. I had no idea that you spoke Spanish, so I was pretty impressed, man. Right on. I want to ask you about the unfortunate situation that happened with Anton Walks. Does that impact the way that you go about your off season when certain tragedies like that happen in professional sports?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the guy was 25 years old. I'm pretty sure he had a kid, and it just, I feel like it broadens all of our perspective just about life and what really matters to us at the end of the day. Because I feel like a lot of times, tons of us, and we're all negated by these minor worries in our own heads. Everyone's got insecurities and fears and doubts and anxiety in some way, shape, or form. And something like that happens that's just so grand. I feel like it's sometimes it completely changes your perspective, and it eliminates a lot of your worry just in terms of, okay, well, what's life really about? What really matters at the end of the day? If you have, this day, you're present in this moment, you're alive, you're breathing, you're able to walk, you can spend time with your family, you can call your loved ones, it's like, what are we really worrying about at the end of the day when something like that happens? It's tragic, it's sad, and it's a testament to the fragility of life, that just like, you never know when, your last breath might be. So I think for all of us, it's a good reminder just to not take any days for granted. And it's obviously a massive tragedy to Anton and his family. And I can't even imagine what that team is going through, and, the adversity that they're facing. And like, I really just pray for his family that, God grants them strength during this time, because, as we will move throughout the season, sometimes you can see, not to say that you forget these things, but you want to keep them in the front of your mind. And for sure that family is going to struggle for a while, having lost maybe a kid losing their father, and, a mother losing her son. It's terrible. So, like I said, I think all of MLS supports the cause and wants to do whatever we can to help support them. But I know definitely I've been praying for that family myself, and just trying to, use it to give us all a little bit more perspective, like I said, because it is just extremely sad.
Yeah. Thank you for your answer. And just before I let you go, I'd like to ask you about Chris Brady, who's getting ready to take a bigger role with the team. What qualities have you seen with him? What's the vibe with Chris Brady? What are you guys seeing with the future goalkeeper?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think Chris obviously has a ton of quality. Kind of funny saying Chris because I'm Chris too, but no, honestly, I feel like he's a great kid, and like I said, he's got tons of quality, a lot of talent, a young player, and this is exciting for him. It's a great chance to step in and try and solidify that number one role. And you want to see guys step up to the plate and take on the challenges, right? It's not going to be easy. It's going to come with tons of ups and downs, just as a lot of all young players, you go through, you make mistakes, you learn, you get better, you grow. So, I'm excited to watch him in that, and hopefully he can step into it and just really embrace all of it. But no doubt he's a top talent, and he's going to have a big future ahead of him. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch it.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chris. I think we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate you joining us, and thanks to everyone else on the call for joining, and go enjoy that sunshine.
Thank you.